Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video for today. In today's video, we're of course going to have a look at the current state of the market. As expected, still a lot of volatility. So we had great green days. Today we have a day where it's a bit all over the place. But the video itself is going to focus on if we were to start to invest today. We had $10,000. And by the way, you can do it with $1,000, you can do it with 10,000, you can do it with 100,000. It doesn't really matter. That's also something that I want you to understand, is that you don't have to feel ashamed that you're only starting to invest with $1,000 or something like that. I started with, as you know, 1,750 euros, that is, 10 years ago. I didn't feel ashamed to say, oh, I only started with a small amount. No, everybody starts with a small amount. I've seen some people laugh about other people's portfolio. Oh, your portfolio is only worth $1,000 or $10,000. It's not in the millions, or it's not in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, most people start very, very small. Unless you got all of the money from your parents, then okay, congratulations. What's the point? But yeah, we're going to have a look at a couple of scenarios. Fresh out of college, my age, and then closer to retirement, because yeah, it's three different types of strategies. Of course, you let me know down in the comment section below, how would you spend $10,000 today if you were to start today, April 3rd, what would you do? But first, let's have a look at the current state of the market. Of course, on Friday, the market is closed. Right now, as you can see, we are a bit all over the place. Yes, there are some reddish names, but then again, it's not the worst thing. It was more red towards the start of the day on Thursday, but right now it's quite okay. If we go and have a look at the list of stocks that we do follow, and we're going to see from the greenest name all the way to the one that's the most red, we see actually Rubrik at the top of the list. AST, Nebius, D-Local, of course, we own three of the four names here. Intel is up 3%, CoreReef is up 1.6, AMD is up 1.2, then United Health is up 1.2. We have some green names, but it's not that green. As for the red, HIMS is down 4, BMNR down 3, Applied Digital 2.6. We have quite a lot of names that are down 2% or so. Then we've got some names that are down 1%. Meta still down 1.5% here. So a bit of a mixed bag on Thursday. And I think we're going to experience these types of days quite a lot for the next couple of weeks. Don't forget, towards the end of April, well, earnings season is starting again. So yeah, the fun is going to continue for the foreseeable future. Moving on, let's try and do this exercise. How I'd invest $10,000 right now. So three different portfolios. Well, different portfolios, but in some ways not that different. So today, what we see is that the S&P 500 is 9% off their highs. The Nasdaq is down 10% or so. Dow Jones around 10% as well. 14% below fair value. That's only according to Morningstar. They said that the market is trading 14% below the fair value, according to them. Oil is trading at around $100 or so. Unemployment rate is still around 4.4%. And so, yeah, when you look at all of this, it's not the worst time to start investing, or in some of our cases, to just continue to invest. And so, scenario number one, I said this is going to be a fresh out of college type of investor, age 22 to 25, can be 20, 18. Well, that's fresh out of high school. The time horizon here, of course, is 30 to 40 years. This is your biggest advantage because time here is your friend. And so we are going for 100% growth. Why is that? Because yes, as you start, you will probably start small. You start early. It's okay to make mistakes. You would actually love to make all of the mistakes possible early on, because early on, usually that's when you don't really have that much money. I've made big mistakes early on, and thankfully so. I'm still making some mistakes right now, but those mistakes are becoming smaller and smaller. But making big mistakes early on with not a lot of money, although it is a lot of money for you when you start, but it's not a lot of money for future you, that's usually a good thing, because it's basically you're paying for a lesson. And so that's why we're going here with 100% growth, but that doesn't mean it needs to be super risky, right? So we see names like NVIDIA, Meta. For example, NVIDIA, I'm putting here 25% of the portfolio in NVIDIA, 20% in Meta, 15 AMD, 15 SoFi, 10 Nebius, and 5 Rocket Lab. Of course, a lot of the names that we're going to talk about in this video are names that I personally own or names that we've put on the watch list. Of course, we can switch those names, right? I can put here an Amazon, for example, instead of AMD. I can switch SoFi, put SoFi much higher than this. You can play around with this, but this is just an exercise to see how we would construct today a portfolio. And honestly, if you tell me that this is my portfolio right now, I won't even be mad. Why would I? Right? Why would I be mad when you look at these types of names? And also, correction for the video on, I believe, Wednesday. There were some times where the forward PE was supposed to be another metric, whether it's EV to operating cash flow or EV to EBITDA or something like that. Because yes, with Amazon, for example, Amazon doesn't have a forward PE of 11. It's closer to 27 or so, but it has EV to operating cash flow of close to 11 to 12 times. So that was the mistake. Apologies for that. But yeah, fresh out of college, you could also go way more aggressive than this, right? You could also grow and say, you know what, Nvidia, Meta, too big of a companies. I only want multi-baggers in that portfolio. And that would be completely fine. That would be completely fine because again, you're starting early. Time here is on your side. So yes, you can go for a D-Local, for example. You can go for Root, you can go for Pagaya, you can go for a lot of these smaller capped companies. You can go for the multi-bagger potential. You can go for Oscar here as well and say, you know what, I don't want the Nvidias, I don't want Meta. AMD, maybe yes, but maybe even that's too big for me. I really want to focus on sub $100 billion companies. And then yes, you can change the way the portfolio is looking. Maybe you're not going to put companies at 25% of your portfolio. And by the way, look, I'm only talking here about 6 stocks. Maybe you want more, maybe you want less. This is just one of the scenarios that we're looking at right now. So here again, why go 100% growth at 22 or at 20 or even at 25? Purely because you have time on your side. And so yeah, maybe you would like to skip Nvidia and put it in a potential multi-bagger, or just keep what we just had and add on top of it. Maybe just 2%, maybe 5% of your portfolio in potential multi-baggers. Don't forget, this is an investor that just started out, so still learning. Probably if you start looking at only multi-baggers, yes, you might get burned along the way, but again, it is a learning journey. Of course, in this portfolio, we don't really have big dividend players. We have some, right? I mean, Nvidia pays a small dividend. We have Meta that pays a small dividend. So, okay, but it's not necessary. If you would like to have dividend paying names, that's completely fine. Some of the big names here, like the Metas, the Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, these types of names are, yes, they are paying a dividend. You don't need it, but hey, it's always a good plus. Moving on to scenario number 2, and that's of course me right now. My allocation, as you know, we go over it every Sunday, so it's nothing new. And many of you would say, would you change anything to the portfolio right now? Well, not really. Remember, I have a retirement portfolio with purely just Meta, Amazon, Mercado Libre, Google, and some Tesla. That's about it. It's a portfolio that I rarely touch, unless it's for Mercado Libre more recently, but that's about it. All the rest is focused on what you see each and every week. Yes, with Nebius at number 1, with SoFi at number 2, with Google at number 3. So yes, it is a high growth portfolio. It is a high beta portfolio as well. When the market is green, let's say 2.5% or so, I will probably be green 5+%. And the same goes when we go down. The market is down 1%, the portfolio on the day is probably going to be down 3-4% or so, which is why year to date we're down around 11-12%. This is something that you need to understand. But would I change anything? No, because if I'm saying now that yes, I would change something, then why didn't I do it already, right? If I want to change, I will change. And as you know, you follow this already for the last 2+ years, I have been changing the portfolio. If stories change, if I like one company suddenly better than the other, or if management, well, didn't do what they should be doing, I will make changes. That's the thing. I still view myself as a young investor, a young guy. I can, of course, still invest for the next 30, 40 years or so. So maybe you could have put myself in the other category, but I think the other category, you could be way more aggressive and things like that. I wanted to put myself in another category, which based on the viewers, the comments, the live stream, everything, a lot of us have similar types of portfolio, similar types of companies that we have, well, researched along the years, and we've accumulated more shares. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything. Unless, of course, if you tell me that I can change my losses and certain, well, prices that I have in my portfolio, the average cost, then yes, maybe that I would like to change. But all in all, I'm quite happy with my allocation. I'm quite happy with the way the portfolio is constructed. Would more changes occur in the future? 100%. But right now, based on what I know, based on what I want, yes, I think 5, 10, 15 years down the line, future me would be extremely happy that I invested in what I invested right now and that I made my money work for future me. Because in another scenario, maybe I would have said, you know what, stocks, schmucks, well, that was actually a very good one. Who cares? I rather just focus on, I don't know, buying Rolexes, cars, etc. And by the way, if you have the money, I mean, go enjoy, do whatever you want. But yeah, I could have wasted a lot of money, but I rather invest for the future. And then in the future, I could probably enjoy myself way more than right now. Patience is a very, very important skill to have and to learn. Probably something that younger investors in the first scenario do not have just yet, but they will learn the hard way or not. Moving on to the last scenario, and that's also a very important scenario if maybe you're taking care of your parents, or I don't know, you know people of that age and they're asking you for questions, etc., etc. This is, of course, scenario number 3, close to retirement. And close to retirement is, of course, the goal here, capital preservation. You want income plus moderate growth, right? You don't want a portfolio that's literally just sitting there in cash and giving you just 4.5% or whatever. So here we do have ETFs. So I'm going for a VOO and, of course, a dividend ETF, the most popular one out there. You want to have at least, I would say, 50% of it in those two ETFs or in ETFs in general. So I have 30% VOO, 20% in the dividend paying ETF. I think that's playing it safe, but not too safe. Because then when you look at the other stocks in the portfolio, yes, we're going with Amazon, we're going with Meta, we're going with Google, and we're going here with Apple. As you know, Meta is also paying a very small dividend, Google paying a small dividend, Apple is paying a dividend as well. All three are also buying back quite a lot of shares. Yes, Amazon, Meta, Google are also spending quite a lot of money on capex right now. But then the rest, you have 5% here that sits in cash, short-term treasuries, so dry powder for some opportunities. But I do think, yeah, that when you are near retirement, so 50s, early 60s or something like that, I think this portfolio, and of course, again, the names that I'm putting here are just, well, are names that you can change, right? If I'm putting here an Amazon and you want a Costco or a Walmart, that's fine. So the different types of category of exposure positions that you can have. I'm putting here, of course, huge names. You can put Microsoft there, you can put Nvidia. The point here is not, I'm showing you this, so this is the portfolio that you need to have. No, if you like another ETF, go and have a look at the other ETF. This is more about ways of thinking, different investors, different time in their lives. Of course, you can have scenario number 4, I don't know, just started a family or something like it. But yeah, these are the types of scenarios, these are the types of positions, allocations, type of strategies. Everyone's going to be very different. I'm just thinking here out loud because I can see in the stats on YouTube who's watching my video. 60% is between 25 and 45, and then you have the rest a bit more and a little bit under 18 years or something like that. 93% is, of course, male here. So yeah, I do think that maybe this is a valuable thought exercise. You could do it yourself, right? You could say, okay, now I'm 30, 40, whatever. If I were to start today, what would I do, right? Clean slate, I'm giving you a check, $10,000. Make sure you build a great portfolio. If you're 50, 60, look at this as well. What's your risk profile? What's your risk appetite? Maybe you like more risks, so you don't need 50% in ETFs. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. The point here is, of course, that everyone's different. Everyone is at a different stage in their life. Not everyone is a millionaire or has 10 or even has $10,000 to invest, like I said at the start, so even start with 1,000, start with 100, start with 500, doesn't matter. Just start. The earlier you start to invest, the better it will be for the future you, because time is your biggest friend. Of course, yes, you need to invest in good companies that can continue to grow and compound, etc., for sure. But start early, and well, don't try and think that you are smarter than everybody else. Don't try to compare yourself to everybody else, because as you know, everyone is different. And of course, it so happens that right now we have good opportunities in the market. We've had great pullbacks in big companies. We know the market itself has not crashed 20, 50% or so, but a lot of the companies are trading at 20, 30, 40%, sometimes 50% from their all-time highs. Of course, just because they were at all-time highs and now they're much lower doesn't mean they're bargains, but a lot of the names that we did cover over the past couple of days and weeks are trading at extremely attractive valuations. And so, yes, during these periods, sitting on cash, doing nothing, in my opinion, is not the best move for your future self. Of course, I can be wrong and we can go much, much lower. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You should be doing what you should be doing. And that's about it for me in today's video. Let me know if you enjoy these types of videos down in the comment section below, and we shall see each other in the next one. Bye bye.